Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ivan here, and I'm gonna be doing a ban list, prediction video. Some people like them, some people hate them. I had, some free time, so I actually sat down and wrote down predictions, a whole freaking page. Basically, what I did was I got a copy of the ban list, downloaded it on my phone, looked through it, and decided on pick some cards that I think should be on the ban list and should come off the ban list. Basically, this is kind of like the most effort I put into a video, to be honest, because I actually sat down for like 20 to 25 minutes, looked at the ban list, thought about cards right off, just off the top of my head, stuff that needs to get hit, and just wrote it down, put in a nice little columns for you guys. First of all, I'm going to talk about cards that are banned. I think that should come back, whether to 1, 2, or 3. I'll be saying that in soon. First of all, Stratos to 1. I love Stratos. I'm a hero player. And if that means that we have to lose a Shadow Mist or 2, I'm completely fine with that. Because Stratos just adds something to the deck that Shadow Mist doesn't. And Shadow Mist is, in some cases better than Stratos because it lets you search Mass Change, and Mass Change lets you get to Dark Law. It lets you get to, your masked heroes that are just really good. And I think if the new Elemental Hero Solid Man is going to be coming out in the near future, that they're going to need to kind of push some more hero support, because they know everybody loves playing heroes, and if they make that card like Secret Rare, everybody will buy the set to try to get that card just to be able to play heroes again. Because heroes, has always been a really popular deck with, little kids, with older players who remember it back from GX. And I just think that Stratos, in those CG they have 2, and here we have none. The next card, Tribe Infected Virus, just bring it all the way back to 3. It's not going to see any play. That card has been power crept from GOAT format. I think it's been banned like over 10 years, I think. No, probably less than that. But it's been banned a long time, and the card's just not good anymore. I might see random play, in side decks or something like that, just for somebody who has the super version and they want to play it, I guess. Wind Up, Carriers, and Mighty. I guess put it to 1, because Wind Up's not going to do anything. Even with the new Link Monster coming out, I still think the deck is too fragile. It loses to hand traps. And even back in the day, we didn't have stuff like Ash Blossom or Ghost Ogre, and now we do. So there's more hand traps to stop these kind of decks. I think in the OCG they have like 3 of everything, and the deck doesn't really do anything. So having 1 Wind Up Carries the Mighty, might bring some people back into the game, because a lot of people like playing wind ups back in the day. Next, Heavy Storm, another personal choice, because I just love Heavy Storm, and I have an Ultra one that's been sitting in my binder forever, and it would be cool to be able to play it. The next format is going to be like no traps, basically. All the traps are going to be played from the hand. The Cyber Dragon Infinity trap, it has the picture on it. It's actually called like I forget, it's called like Infinity Divinity or some shit like that. And it's going to be able to negate monster effects from the hand, and it's a trap card, which is good. Red Button Reboot, I think is what it's called. That one lets stop traps and stuff like that. So it's just gonna be a no trap format. You'll still see stuff like Solemns and stuff like that, but these other new cards that are gonna be coming out are gonna be really good. So I think Heavy Storm can come back, because it's just not as good as it used to be. Might not even see play in the main deck, probably only in the side deck. Super Rejuvenation, I think it could bang to like 2 or 3. There's no deck I can think of right now off the top of my head they would play this and be able to get anything broken off it. You might think stuff like Blue Eyes and other things like that, but even with Blue Eyes, I think the deck only sends like 1 or 2 dragons a turn, and this will just add to an inconsistency that the Blue Eyes deck already has, and I still think that people will not play it. Time Seal, this card's been power crept pretty much. Before, skipping your opponent's draw phase was something really, big. But now with so many decks that have so many pluses from monsters, from spells, from just random stuff like that, I think if Time Seal, it could probably even come back to like 3. I would say bring it back to 1 at the beginning, because even stuff like Final Countdown and trolley decks like that won't play it because it's just not good. You have to set it. So if you're unfortunate to go second, this card's just super slow. And I think that's it for all the cards to come off the ban list. I didn't ban anything because right now I don't think anything is ban worthy. Later on, maybe Saruja, maybe Firewall, stuff like that. But I think it's still too new to ban that right away. Limited, I have Dragonic Diagram. That card's just dumb. Being able to destroy cards in your hand and get their effects of certain monsters is just really good. And you get to search a monster with that. And just to hurt True Dracos because the deck's been good for a little bit too long. I put Fairy Tail Snow to 1 because that would pretty much just get rid of those 60 card decks. Because Fairy Tail Snow is like really, really important in those decks. And with something like Called by the Grave, it kind of gave us, something new to stop Fairy Tail Snow. But I still think that card's way too powerful, especially in the 60 card variants. And then we get a card like Giant Rex, which, kind of makes the card even more broken. And I think putting Snow to 1 is just something that needs to happen because the card's just too good. Trickstar Reincarnation, I just don't like that card. It's dumb. Then I have, for the Magician deck, the Harmonizing Magician and the Black Fang, both to 1. I think those are the 2 best Magician cards. A lot of people will say Purple Poison because it just adds so many outs to the deck. But you still need a way to destroy it. And even if you crash it, sometimes that's bad. So the way to hit, I think the Magician deck is through that. I was trying to think of something else, but I couldn't really think of anything else off the top of my head. Without like banning like Metaphors Electromite, which just came out, so there's no way that it's getting banned. It probably won't even get limited. It probably won't be hit till I guess it gets a reprint like a Mega 10 or something like that. Then Card of Demise, because that card is not fair and it's so cheap in the kind of decks that it's played in, which is like True Dracos, stun decks. I know a lot of people say, oh, but that kills stun decks. Stun decks are not going to top no matter what because the format's just too wide open, I guess you could say. Because stun decks will be good against certain decks, but then there's decks like True Dracos, they just shit all over stun decks. And Inspect Border is not as good as a lot of people thought it was. I remember when it first came out, it was like a $20 card, and I just sold mine like for $8. So no big deal because $8 is $8, but I just don't think that those stun decks really need it. And then stuff like Chain Burn just kills those kind of decks off because those decks are just dumb. They're not actual, competitive decks. They're because you don't really get player interaction. You're just, pretty much just trolling, I guess you could say, if you're playing one of those decks. And then this is one that I kind of had to think about that I kind of liked, but then I kind of didn't like at the same time. And it was Terraforming to 1. Field spells are just becoming more and more powerful. And with having Terraforming at 3, I think is just a really bad thing because it just adds consistency to those decks that really need their field spell. Not just because of the new dark deck that's coming out, but there's stuff like ABCs, Dragonic Diagrams, Lost Worlds, even random field spells that just give you so much consistency to your deck. The Spiral field spell. There's just so many good field spells in this freaking game. Cosmo Town. Just stuff like that. And I think hating Terraforming is something that needs to happen. And I'm pretty sure Konami, it's gonna happen sooner or later. Because if it wasn't, then why did they make the card Metaverse? Which, basically does the same thing, but it's a trap card and it's a little bit slower. Or no, it's a lot bit slower because you can't use it on your turn. But, it's a suitable replacement. Probably won't see play, I think, because it's just too slow. That's it for the limit. For the semi-limit, I have Union Hanger, even though I freaking love the deck. ABCs need to have something hit, and I think having either hitting Hanger or Buster Dragon to 2, which will, hurt the deck a little bit, because the deck's not like super OP or anything like that, because it still breaks sometimes. But just doing that will, add a little less consistency to the deck, and it will make it a little bit less powerful. Dante of the Burning Abyss, or Traveler of the Burning Abyss, whatever. I've always hated that card. Uh, Back when the deck first came out, I was really happy to play it because it was just something cool, like the demon dudes, like the Malbranch or whatever they're called. They look really cool, and I was like, man, that deck's gonna be cool. Like everything's rare, it's gonna be cheap to play. And then Dante's jumped up to like $50, and I only had one. So right there and then, I sold the deck, sold the whole thing for like $100, which was pretty cool. But I've always hated Dante ever since because I just think as long as Burning Abyss are going to be a thing, and if they do end up getting the Link Monster, I think the deck's just going to be dumb. It still even tops in the OCG, but in the OCG they do have a bunch more stuff than we do. I think they still have 3 Surd, 3 Graph, and here we only have 1 of each. And Beatrice I think is still unlimited over there, and here it's at 1. But I still think the deck's still too good because Dante's just a really dumb card. Being able to get stuff back to your hands, and then with monsters like Sir, with monsters like Graf, Libic, all those other Malbranch cards, they just add a lot of advantage. And the fact that they get their effects off discarding for like Twin Twisters and stuff like that is stupid. The mechanic's always been dumb. Then, I guess bringing something back, it's Dragonfly and Hornet, because Insectors are not going to do anything in this format. Even if they do get the Link Monster, because the Link Monster sucks, and it's dumb, and they freaking messed it up. I was an Insector player back in the day, so it'd be cool to play Insectors again, even though the deck's super inconsistent. Even back then, I don't think I think it won a YCS when Hornet and Dragonfly went to 1, which is pretty funny because at full power the deck never won anything, but when everything got hit, they finally won a YCS. So yeah. Then I have Cosmo Dark Destroyer. I honestly didn't even know that this card was hit on the ban list. I thought it was still at 3, but I guess it was at 1. Bring it back to 2 because Cosmo players, they've suffered enough. They got their emergency teleport to 1, Dark Destroyer to 1. The deck doesn't really see play right now at the moment because it's just really inconsistent, and there's just so many ways, especially since Kaijus came out. Because once Kaijus came out, I think that brought down the consistency and the power of Cosmos a lot because it stopped your floating of your ships. It stopped your, never-ending floaters, and that's just something that's really good. And it could still make, some crazy boards, but I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, like, come on, man. It's been at 1 since Chaos Dragons, and the card doesn't see play at all. I know some people will say, like, oh, what if they start playing it, like, in Blue Eyes or stuff like that. I don't think Blue Eyes would play it because it doesn't really go with the deck because it's level 10. You have to banish a dragon to summon it, so you'd have to banish like either your little stone or one of your Blue Eyes, and that just really wouldn't do anything for you. I know that there's still some loops out there with this card, but with only 1 extra monster zone, I still think it's not that good. Then for stuff to go to 3, TG Hyper Librarian, even with Crystron Needle Fiber, I don't think any deck would ever play 3 Hyper Librarians. It's at 2 right now, and nobody's playing even 1. No deck, can kind of abuse this yet. Because, yeah. Oh, no, I actually forgot one in semi-limited. Rekindling. Rekindling, honestly don't remember why it got hit. I think it was because of the rank 3 Fire Fist deck, because it was playing 3 Rekindling. But with the way the extra monster zone is right now, the only way you can make, a good board with, like, Lavels and stuff like that is if you play, like, something like Doolittle Chimera, which is freaking dumb card. It doesn't really add anything to that kind of deck. And, yeah, I just think even 2 Rekindling won't help those kind of decks. It'll be good for stuff like, what's it called, Fire Kings. Because Fire Kings, they can kind of use it to, come back. And that's something that the decks always lacked. So I think that would help out that. They just got a new Fire King and nobody even cared. So yeah. Then going back to stuff that come off, Wind Up Magician to 3. The card's not that good anymore, like I said before, because of new hand traps and because the Wind Up deck not being as consistent as it once was. Wall of Light, I don't know why it's still at 1. Nobody's gonna play that dumb card because we have so much removal for spell and traps. Ring of Destruction, the errata kind of killed this card off. It made it not as good as it was before. Honestly think if Ring of Destruction, the non-errata, was it like 1 or 2, people still wouldn't play it because destroying monsters is not as good as it used to be. Compulse, same thing. It's been kind of power crept. We have 3 tarantulas right now, and nobody's playing that. 3 compulse. It used to be good back in the day, like when they would make an Exceed monster and you compulse it away, you would get like a 2-for-1 because they had to use 2 monsters to do that. And compulse just isn't good against any other decks right now. It does nothing against magicians. It does nothing against 2 Dracos, and it does nothing against like ABCs and stuff like that. Symbols of Heritage. Um, Norden's banned, so this card's not good. Book of Moon. Book of Moon is at 1 right now, and it hasn't seen play in years, especially with links, because you can't turn a link face down. This card's always not going to be good as long as links are a thing. So I'd say just bring it to 3. It won't do anything. I think the OCG has 2, and they don't do anything over there. It'd be cool in like random flip decks, I guess, like crawlers and like Geargias, random stuff like that actually, the monsters would want to flip down. DeLorean, the level 6 synchro for ice barriers. Uh, Especially the way the extra monster zone works right now. I think this card can go to 3 and nothing will happen, because I was trying to think of like what kind of cards you could bounce back to your hand and like play again, and how you can make this card, because I think you need like a water tuner to make it, and I couldn't think of anything. Even with like Crystal Needle Fiber, I don't think that card would be anything groundbreaking. Maybe, but then never mind. Even with the new Living Fossil card, the one that's coming out, there's like a premature burial. As soon as that card leaves the field, it would banish the monsters. So even with that card, it wouldn't be good. Then Night Assailant. I don't even know why this card's still at 1. It does nothing. Being able to get a flip monster back, but who the heck is playing flip monsters right now? Or who's going to play flip monsters besides Shadows? Because Shadows have other effects. But I think put that card to 3, put it in Shadows, whatever the heck. I don't think it'll do anything. It'll just be like a break card. And if it'll be, honestly, I think it would be funny, like if somebody's playing like 3 Night Assailants their deck, and they set it, and your opponent goes, and they do all this stuff, and they attack into it, and they're like, what the Night Assailant? It's like, because it's got the Man-Eater bug effect. That'd be pretty funny. And then Neo-Spacian Gramo. Nobody's going to play that card, because it takes up your normal summon, and bouncing cards to the hand one at a time just isn't something that's, really hot in the clubs right now. So I think that would do absolutely nothing. And that's it. That's all I wrote down. I think that's all. Stuff like Monster Reborn, stuff like Solemn Judgment, Imperial Order. I think they're all decent for the game right now. Regeki, some people are not even playing it, just to show you that these older cards, yeah, they're powerful, but they're not as good as they used to be. Like it was funny the other day, I was playing against some guy, and he Regeki'd my board, and I just tagged out with Buster, got my 3 pieces. Used my C effect, search with B, got a card back with A, and I still had the same amount of cards. And he was like, so that basically did nothing besides get rid of Buster. And I forgot to mention that I also used the effect to banish a card that he had on the field. So I still got to banish a card. I still got all my ABC pieces effect. And even against True Dracos, like if you're holding Raigeki against a true masterpiece that had been tributed by spells, which is most of the time it's either going to be spell and monsters. It's really rare that they do traps, because traps are just not really seen playing right now. So it's not that good against that deck. Even against Pendulum Magicians, a lot of the Magicians cards get effects whenever they're destroyed. So like Black Fang can bring back bring itself back. I think I think that's how it works. Purple Poison will get to pop one of your cards. And just the other monsters will get to do their effects. So it's just not good. The same thing with Heavy Storm. Like nobody's playing artifacts and stuff like that right now, so you don't really have to worry about back rows that much anymore. It's most of the time it's like more for the side deck, because in the side deck everybody's playing. Nobody's really playing chainable stuff besides the dimensional barrier, and even with dimensional barrier you can't stop links. So if you're playing against like some Link deck, whatever, Link Turbo, whatever you want to call it, you won't be able to do anything against, even if they Heavy Storm you Dimensional Barrier, like, nothing's going to happen. So that'd be cool. Getting rid of, macrocosmos and dimensional fissures, stuff like that. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think anti-spell needs to get hit because that card's just seeing a lot of play right now, especially against like magician. Since the magician deck's really good right now, it's seen a lot of play, and I think putting it to like 2 would be pretty good just to stop people from playing 3. It's not broken, it's not annoying or anything, but it does see play. So I guess anti-spell would be another card that I would try to put on the list. But this is honestly something that Konami. What I just did is something that Konami should do on their own. Uh, Look at stuff. Look at the ban list. Look at cards coming out, and just decide. Hey, maybe you might do something. Hey, maybe not. But adds variety to the meta, and that's something that would really been lacking lately. Because like this last set that came out, if you really think about it, all it added was Metaphors of Metatramite. Saru just played in every deck, so that doesn't really matter. Uh, and the Mech Knights, they honestly aren't that good. Like, they see play in that Invoke deck, but I think it's more about the Invokes than it is about the Mech Knights. Mech Knights are a good engine for that kind of deck, because, them only summoning one monster at a time is not really that good anymore. Especially since we have the extra monster zone now, and they can't play Wind Witches or anything like that anymore. They can only summon like one Macabre, and that's it. Mech Knights just add something to the deck that it didn't have before. But you look at like all the new Xyzs that came out, or Xyzs, all the new links that came out, they honestly didn't really do much. So sure, Gem Knight's kind of the FTK version, but I still think it's really consistent. I think the Pendulum FTK deck is whatever. It'll still see play, but I don't think it'll be as broken without the cards that I hit. So yeah, guys, sorry the video went a little bit long, and I don't have cool graphics and pictures of the cards flashing in before your eyes and stuff. But I'm not that kind of YouTuber, and if you've been watching my video, you should know that by now. So till next time, guys, I'm not sure what I'm gonna be making next because we'll never know when this balance is gonna drop or what. But just keep a lookout because I ordered a bunch of stuff, and I might make more deck profiles. And I might be doing like a combo video for like Light Sworns, even though everybody's probably seen all the combos before. So yeah, guys, till next time, this is your boy Diamond, and I'll see you guys later.